Hello and welcome to BBC World News. We start with the fallout from a Ukrainian rocket attack in the occupied region of Donbas, which Ukraine claims killed 400 Russian troops. Russia puts the number of dead much lower, just 63 service personnel. But Russian politicians are calling for their own military commanders to be held accountable for the deaths. It comes as Ukraine's President Zelensky says intelligence suggests Russia plans to continue its drone attacks as a concerted effort to exhaust and demoralise Ukraine.
We
have information that Russia is planning a protracted attack using Shahed drones. It is probably banking on exhaustion. Exhausting our people, our anti-aircraft defences, our energy. But we act and do everything so the terrorists fail in their aim, as all their others have failed.
Let's get the latest from our correspondent in Kyiv, Hugo Bichega.
So we had a rare admission by Moscow of battlefield losses. Yesterday, the Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that 63 Russian troops were killed as a result of this attack, which targeted a facility in the occupied town of Makivka in the eastern Donetsk region. Apparently, this was a school that had been turned into a base for Russian troops. Reports suggest that many of those troops were recently mobilized soldiers, had just joined the Russian army. So it was a rare admission by Moscow of military losses. And yesterday we also heard from the Ukrainian military. First they said that 400 people had been killed. Last night they said they were still trying to determine the number of casualties. But I think there was a lot of anger online among Russian military bloggers. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why Moscow decided that staying silent wasn't really an option. I think lots of people were questioning the decision by commanders to house so many troops in a single location. Apparently they're being housed near ammunition stores that detonated as a result of this attack. And some reports suggest that the use of mobile phones by soldiers allowed the Ukrainians to locate this facility. And also yesterday the Russians accused the Ukrainians of carrying out this attack using HIMARS rockets, which are long-range weapons, rockets that have been supplied by the Americans to the Ukrainians that have been vital for the Ukrainians in this campaign against the Russians. So a rare admission of casualties by Russia as a result of this attack on New Year's Eve.
And Hugo, we've been hearing from President Zelensky in his nightly address with his assessment of Russia's plans, he says, to exhaust Ukraine with prolonged attacks.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any surprise here, really, because for weeks the authorities here have been saying that they believe Russia is likely to continue with these attacks. They've been saying that this is how Russia is responding to setbacks on the battlefield. And yesterday, President Zelensky said that Russia wanted to wear down the country's air defenses, its energy supplies, and its people. And he said more than 80 drones had been shot down by the country's air defense forces since the start of the war. And we've seen that in the last few weeks, Russia has intensified these attacks using these drones, Iranian-made drones. And these attacks are now happening day and night. And they are very disruptive, obviously. There's a lot of fear because every time there is an attack, the air raid alert goes off. But people are tired of these attacks. They are angry because these attacks are targeting places like Kyiv, away from the front lines. And now President Zelensky is saying that he has information that Russia is likely to continue using these drones to carry out these attacks.
Hugo Bichega there.